Hey, Nish here, and for the last year and a half or so, I've been living in Spain. I thought I'd share today a few of the finance type apps that I found useful, and you might too. We jumped straight in, and the first one is a Revolut bank account. Now, these days there are a lot of online and app-based banks available. The difference with Revolut, which I liked, is that within the one account, you have separate accounts for different currencies. So this is very useful because you can actually send euros rather than some other banks like Monzo and Starling where you're spending pounds and it's converting it to whatever currency you're in. In combination with that, the benefit is that even on their free basic tier, you can convert up to £1,000 a month without any commissions, providing it's on weekdays. As I've still been paid in pounds while over here, this has been essential for me, so I can convert the pounds to the euros within the same account and then use those euros and send them to people. After the first £1,000, there is a 0.5% conversion fee, and that increases by another 1% at weekends, but have no fear, my next app is a solution to this. Little spoiler there. Aside from that, their app is pretty decent. It categorizes spending, so you can look at analytics, you can set up virtual cards and even one-time use cards for doing online purchases. However, there are some caveats and downsides that I want to make sure you're aware of to be balanced. The first major thing is that Revolut is still not an official bank in the UK, and this means that their accounts do not have FSCS protection on your funds in case the company goes bust. What this means is this isn't really an account to keep all your money. Their savings rates aren't that good anyway, so you probably want to not keep much money here and just use it as a day-to-day spending account. Aside from that, with the minor things, as I mentioned, you've got a pounds account there with your traditional sort code and account number, and then you've also got a euros account which has an international banking number, but it does have a GB in it. Now, even though in Europe this technically shouldn't matter what country code is in that IBAN, I found in some cases it still does, so that's something to be aware of. But aside from that, I use this day to day and I found it really useful, and if you're interested, there is a referral link in the description to set up an account. So I mentioned with Revolut, after that first £1,000 and at weekends, there are decently high currency conversion fees. So when you're stuck outside of that window, there's an application called Wise, which I found to be very useful. Wise is a platform primarily used to do currency conversions, and it does so at pretty low fees. I think the lowest fees around. When I've calculated them, it's been around 0.4%, 0.45%, so a little bit lower than Revolut's 0.5 on weekdays and much lower than their weekend rate. In order to do the conversion, you need to have an account where you're sending money of the first currency and then receiving money in the new currency. Revolut is great for this because I've got that pounds account and the euro account, so I just set those up in Wise and it just did a transfer immediately. Aside from that, they do have a standalone prepaid card you can buy, and that does currency conversions on the fly with their commissions. I've not had a need for this yet, but it could be a good backup to have in case I have some problems with my Revolut account. Again, if this sounds interesting, I've stuck a referral in the description which lets you do a £500 conversion with zero fees, even though the 0.4% is pretty low as well. Finally, as I'm no longer a UK tax resident while I've been out here, I can't put money into my stocks and shares ISA like I had in the past. Furthermore, a lot of UK share dealing type accounts also ask that you're a UK tax resident. So for people living abroad permanently, the solution to this is to use some kind of international brokerage trade dealing type account. Now, I did a little bit of research into some of the options and I settled on one called Degiro or Degiro. I don't know how it's pronounced. The benefit I found with this is there's no account fees and there's no transaction fees if you buy exchange traded funds from their core collection, which is a pretty comprehensive list. There are, of course, some terms and conditions, like it's the first transaction of each month, but subsequent ones as well if they're above a certain value. Now, the main catch with Degiro is that it's all in euros and you need to fund the account with euros, and this is where I had trouble using my Revolut account. It didn't like that my Revolut account had GB. Now, fortunately, I have had to set up a Spanish account here for other purposes, so I could just shuffle money from Revolut to that account to Degiro. However, if you want to stick in pounds or dollars or whatever currency, the other option I found, which was highly recommended, is called Interactive Brokers, which I think the downside I found is it has a small fee on the transactions and it seemed a little bit more complicated as a platform, but I think that could have just been my impression of looking at the website. But that is also another good option if you want to do investing while you're over here. So if you want to check out Degiro, I'll stick a referral link for that, or check out Interactive Brokers. And that is everything. Hopefully this has been a useful video. Let me know what you think. Obviously, none of this is advice. I'm not a financial advisor, just sharing some platforms and services that I found useful while I've been here, and maybe you will too. Do let me know your tips as well for living abroad. Subscribe for more to the point content, and I'll catch you in the next one.